common saying is that you are what you eat. The book of Vayikra or Leviticus hardly agrees with that. This is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah. Today's the final day of the Torah portion, Tzav, command, and we are in Vayikra, Leviticus chapter number 7. Let's read verses 22 through 27. The word says, "And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Do not eat any fat of bull or sheep or goat, and the fat of a dead body and the fat of what is torn is used for any purpose, but you do not eat it at all. For whoever eats the fat of the beast, of which men bring as an offering, made by fire to Yahweh, even the being who eats it shall be cut off from his people. And do not eat any blood in any of your dwellings, of bird or of beast. Any being who eats any blood, even that being shall be cut off from his people." Being cut off from your people is a serious step. We're talking about being caught outside the covenant of Israel, no longer being a part of Israel, being cut off. So it's common among many cultures to ingest blood. I seem to remember some folks that used to be a part of a church congregation eating what they call blood pudding. Now, I don't know exactly what all went into that process, but just the name of it gave me the desire to steer clear. Fat, it's fat is a good fat is good for you, such as maybe add some products that are naturally occurring, butter or whatever. But there is the fat that is to be offered on the altar. The fat that it belongs to Yah, he says, that's mine, it's not yours. And so there is a principle there that we are being told about, not just about eating fat or the ingestion of blood, but Yah is saying that which belongs to me, and it doesn't belong to you. Therein is an underlying principle. So he says here very plainly, very loudly, do not eat or consume the fat or the blood in any of your dwellings. We are not to eat any blood of an animal that is qualified to be laid on the altar, that which is clean and is so designated, of the flock, of the sheep or goats, or of the herd, an ox, or a member of the cattle family. I just put it that way, or bull. So we're not to eat their blood. We're not to eat their fat. Even in clean game, deer comes to mind, antelope. We're not to eat the fat or the blood from those animals. They're much leaner animals, and so there's a lot less fat to be concerned about. But it is the idea in principle that we are to abstain from this. One might ask the question, well, why? Not that we want to eat bloody meat, but why? To consume the blood of the animal, a few chapters on, chapter 17, verse 11, we know this very well. Many of you can quote this. But it says to us in that chapter and verse that the life is in the blood. Blood is what carries life throughout the body's system. Any part, any extremity of the body that is prohibited by some means of receiving a proper blood flow, we know that part eventually will die. So, whether it's the fingers or the toes or the tip of the nose, the ears, those are some of the first places that the blood can fail to reach for whatever reason, and it begins to decay and the flesh will die. We are not to eat that then which carries the life of the animal. When an animal is presented as a slaughtering to Yah, as an offering, a sacrifice, very mercifully, its neck is sliced, the jugular vein is cut, and the blood is caught by a qualified Kohanim or priest, and only they can catch the blood. And once that blood is received, the animal will lose strength, slip down to its legs, forelegs, and it will basically just pass away and go to sleep. It's not a painful death. This is not a blood all over the place style death. The blood is caught so that the blood can be properly and honorably applied to wherever it is destined to go, against the altar, the tips of the altar, etc. One might wonder, well, what is it about the blood and the fat? Well, Yah is receiving the exalting of the life of the animal. The life of the animal is received. The animal has just received an opportunity to step up in its life purpose from just grazing and eating the grass of the field and living until it procreates and eventually dies. Now it is an offering to the Most High. Its entire purpose is exalted and lifted up and fire unto the Most High. Its blood is caught, and again, it is utilized in a holy and set-apart manner. The fat is that which burns hot and fervently, and it belongs to Yah. Now, it's interesting that the word in Hebrew for fat is chalev, tallow or fat or lard, and it is then this fat that has a certain significance for us to understand. In Psalms 119, verses 69 through 72, it says that evil men's hearts are covered in fat. And the text goes on to parallel this foolishness and stupidity, silliness like fat over the heart, by being contrasted by David saying, I delight in your Torah. A fat, silly, fat-laden heart then is likened to one who does not love the Torah or delight or follow the Torah. And Yah says that he looks on the heart. He's looking for that devotion to him and to his word. That which is against Torah is laid aside, is burned up, it's offered to Yah. Yah, I take my unrighteousness, I take my infidelities, I take all of my stuff, I lay it on your altar. How many times we prayed about those things? Father, I give this to you. I don't want this. I don't want to live this way. I don't want to think this way. I don't want to be this way. And I lay all this over on your altar. Take it and consume it and get it off of me. It's also known that fat does not have any nerve endings. So there is this callousness, this feeling or lack of feeling, actually. Insensitivity is the idea I'm trying to convey here, where we just don't have compassion or feelings, especially about the needs of others. We're insensitive to the will and the way of the Most High. Again, these are things that we lay on his altar, that we rid ourselves of, and we say, Father, I offer this to you. It's not that which is well-pleasing, and I want it to be consumed, Father. Get it off of me. But fat also speaks of the good things, the richness, the higher qualities. And so we lay both good and bad of ourselves. Father, I don't want to reserve what I think is good for me, about me, for me. All that I am, my highest abilities, my highest qualities, and the worst of me. I put me on the altar. Consume me and use me for your honor and your glory. May I exalt you in the process. Some thoughts to think about today. Shabbat Shalom to you. May Yah's rich and indwelling presence be with you and any that might gather with you if you're by yourself for Shabbat. May you know you're not by yourself. May the King sit at your table and dwell with you and teach you by his Spirit. Thank you for your support, your love, your encouragement, for your comments, and we'll see you again next week. Until then, Shabbat Shalom.